this. Guys, I'm back. It feels like I've been gone forever, but here I am in the flesh. Hopefully the video is recording and it all works and it gets uploaded and you can see my matching two-piece sweatsuit. My cute little tie-dye purple sweatsuit that I just got in the mail today. I wasn't going to wear the hoodie because I'm like, that's way too much. But it looks fine when I'm sitting down. When I stand up, it is not cute. I look like I just got out of prison for hipsters. It's a bad look, I swear. I'm trying not to say the name of my podcast in the first minute or two because if you say the old B word on YouTube, they won't put your video. I don't know, like I guess that they like won't put your video like they won't advertise it or put it in like other videos you should watch because they want to keep YouTube PG-13. Whatever, I'll do it. I won't say the B word. I'll be a good girl. Speaking of cussing at inappropriate times, I did my first morning radio like press for comedy because when you go on the road, sometimes the club will have you do morning radio like the morning of your first show, so then that way whoever's listening might come out. And so I did my first ever morning radio and it was really fun, but I did say SHIT twice and they had to like, because I guess it's on like a 7-second delay or whatever, and so they have to like press this button that just like wipes it out. And so I did that twice. Honestly, I'm surprised that I only cussed twice. And I also didn't realize how often I say the SHIT word. I feel like it's been long enough into the episode already that I can say it, but I'm going to play it safe. What if I was just like a super clean, family-friendly podcast now? I was like, I just want to climb the ranks of YouTube. Yeah, but I did morning radio and it was pretty fun. I woke up so early and I feel like when you wake up, we should start recording this podcast at 7 a.m. What do you think? Anthony says he'll have to pull an all-nighter for that. I mean, I just feel like I never wake up that early, but when I do, I just feel like I'm on time. Like now I get why Mark Wahlberg is so successful. If you wake up that early, like you're just already in the mindset of someone who's better than everyone else. It's crazy. So I like woke up super early. The manager of the club picked me up, took me to the radio station, and I was like, I mean, I wouldn't say that I was just like killing on morning radio, but I was on fire. Your girl had some heat, that early morning heat. And also, I think there's something like that's exciting about your first time where you're like, I can't F this up. See, I stopped myself. I'm ready. I'm ready for more radio, baby. But it's crazy because when I was little, I was kind of like a child star on the radio. Did I already talk about this? I did talk about this. Okay, well, if you don't know, when I was little, I used to be on the radio for like 4 years making prank phone calls on Kiss FM with Ryan Seacrest. One of the hottest top 40 like pop music stations. And so it was very exciting to be back in like a studio doing that. Man, nostalgia, you know? But yeah, they went well. And people actually like came out to my shows because of it. That's wild that people are up. Because that means that they were up at 7 a.m. listening to my dumbass talk. And then they went out to a comedy show at 8 p.m. I had to take like 5 naps in between. But they're rock stars. There was a dude wearing a Trump shirt at one of the shows, and he was like, I freaking love your comedy. That was awesome. And it's like, that's the power my comedy has. It's for everyone, you know? I also went to NASCAR. A lot of Trump shirts there. People were loving it. Well, I'll get into that later. But, yeah, so I did that. Wait, what was I going to say, though? How did I start this off? Doesn't matter. I did make a list of what I wanted to talk about, so that way I would be more on top of it. But anyway, I just got back this morning from Arizona. And okay, so on the last episode I recorded, I left right after to go to, where did I go first? Boston. Okay, so I went to Boston. I'd never been there before. It's beautiful. It's so pretty there. And it's like so old, like there's so much history because that's like the first place that the old Europeans went. And it's just like really beautiful. And there's so many, well, I guess that's more Connecticut, but there's so many statues. I didn't think I would like statues. Because remember when everyone was like, we need to tear the statues down. Do you know what I'm talking about, Anthony? Yeah. But then you see, and when I saw that in the news, I was like, yeah, who cares? Tear down whatever. Tear down the statues. Then you get there and you're like, that's like, I mean, I get that they want to put down like the Confederate statues, like the racist ones. But also it's like, that used to be like their Instagram, Like, how on Instagram people do those like birthday posts or like International Women's Day posts? Statues were their Instagram posts. They're like, this is going to get a lot of likes. A lot of people are going to come to the statue and see what's up with Robert E. Lee, Yeah, so I saw a lot of statues. Bernie also happened to be in town when I was there. That was not planned. I know my hair says that I follow Bernie on all of his press tour, but it was just a damn coincidence. I was walking through the park one night, as you do in Boston, and there was like a group of people in the park, and I was like, I'm about to get murdered. This is it. But it was a bunch of young whites, so I was like, okay, maybe I'll just get assaulted. And I overheard them talking, and they were like, okay, tomorrow no one can bring their own sign, like blah blah blah. So I'm like, oh my god, they're gonna do like some crazy rally in the park, like what's it gonna be? So that night I googled it and I saw that Bernie was gonna be in the park. And Bernie looks like the type of dude who would hang out in parks, feeding birds perhaps. But this time he was speaking. And so I made sure that the next day I was there, and I went, and they should give like VIP wristbands for Bernie rallies, or just like any political rally. I don't want to be in the back. I want VIP. I want artist passes to Bernie's rally. I didn't even get to see the damn man. I just heard him screaming. Somehow his spit still made his way onto my face. That's what I love about that man. He just spits when he talks. He doesn't care. Splash zone. I want to be in the splash zone, up close and personal, when he's doing a speech. And I did. I pulled a Bernie. I was feeding some animals in the park. Also just about Bernie, it's so cool, like, seeing so many people come together in one place, like, all fired up about something, like, regardless of who it is, it's just cool to see people, like, fired up, passionate, all together. It's really beautiful. And that's it. Anyway, I was feeding squirrels in the park because squirrels are cute, okay? They're very cute, and I wish that you could keep them as pets, and I know that people have, but they're not meant to be pets. I mean, what pets are meant to be pets? None, really, if you think about it. No pets are supposed to be living in your home. But I would love to keep a squirrel at my place, but they do their own thing. They're free spirits, And I saw a lady feeding a squirrel, so I sat next to her and I said, do you mind if I grab one of your peanuts and feed a squirrel? So she gave me a peanut, and I was like so freaked out I couldn't do it. Because, like, you're never ready to feed a squirrel. There's never the right moment. And how do you go about it? Do you put your hand underneath? Do you try and keep your finger as far away as possible? I don't know. So I was watching her technique. She was great at it. She's a pro. And I was like, how do I do this? And she was like, just put your hand out. What do you mean, how do I feed a squirrel? Just put your hand out. And I'm like, well, do their hands like grab you? And she goes, sometimes. Okay, so I put my finger out, I try and hold it, and I had acrylic nails at the time. Those kept falling off, so I got rid of them. I'm all natural on the fingers. So I used my little acrylic nail tongs to clamp the very far end of it, and I put it out. And as soon as the squirrel came up, I freaked out, and I like moved my hand too much, and the squirrel just like yeeted my finger. And I got a scratch, but it's all healed now. I thought maybe I'd get the corona or some rabies. I didn't care though. I was like, I'll figure it out. I almost wish I did. It would be a better story, but it's healing pretty nicely. A little souvenir from Boston. So I did that. And, I mean, I still would take a squirrel home if I could. I'm not afraid of a little scratch. Well, I am afraid of the scratch, but I don't care about it. Why did I pull up my maps? I wanted to pull up my notes. Now I pulled up my calendar. I'm a mess. Okay, what about Boston? There was more. Oh, they have the Cheers bar there. I don't watch that show. Have you ever watched Cheers? No. It's just a bunch of people at their local bar. Like, that's literally all Cheers is. They're like, oh, I just got to the bar. Everyone knows me here. This is beautiful. That's called alcoholism. That's all that is. People are like, no, all my friends are at the bar. That's because you're always there. It's because, what do you do outside of the bar? Wait to go to the bar? I just gave a guy in front of, I went to go pick up some water and Reese's Pieces. If you call them Reese's Pieces, stop listening to my podcast. It's Reese's Pieces, and that's a fact. And also, LaCroix is not La Croix. Stop trying to be French. Okay? People who say croissant, you're in America. Stop trying to be just say croissant. Ugh, I hate it. It's so uncomfortable when someone says croissant. It's so gross. It's like, okay, we get it. You went to Paris once. Ugh. Okay. Oh yeah. So I gave this dude outside 7-Eleven a Four Loko. Just holding that can of Four Loko, like I think I'm drunk right now. Like just holding the can made me like I could taste the threesome. You know, I could taste the blackout as soon as I held that can. And then I gave it to him, and he's like, I'm a director, so look out for me in a movie coming up. Oh, when I was in Boston, I did it. Oh, also Fenway Park is if you're not there for a game, it's so boring. I'm like, I'm gonna walk around Fenway Park. Snooze fest. It's like, yeah, it's beautiful, but it's weird because it's in the middle of it's just in the middle of the city. Like there's bars and like restaurants all around. Like when you go to Dodger Stadium, you have to like drive up a huge hill. It's pretty much just a parking lot with some grass in the middle. But Fenway Park, it's like right in the middle of the city. It's wild. But if there's not a game, don't go. Or I guess just drive by. But I did a bar show there. I was headlining this bar show in Boston. And some girls who listen to the podcast came out. They came all the way from like Long Island. Yeah, they took a little bus, I think. Anyway, so cute, so sweet. Precious. What else? Oh yeah, so I stayed in Boston for like 4 nights. I was supposed to only be there for like 3 nights or something, but I got my college dates mixed up. I thought I was supposed to be performing at this college in Connecticut on the 3rd. Or no, on the 2nd, but it turns out it was on the 3rd. So I stayed in Boston an extra night. I got to headline a show last minute, which was nice. And then I left. I took my first Greyhound bus to Connecticut. People always talk smack about the Greyhound. I loved it. It was a beautiful experience. Maybe because it was like not super busy and it seemed like a very brand new bus. I could live on a Greyhound. I loved it. It was comfortable. I got some work done. I watched part of the movie Coco, The movie about Dia de los Muertos. My dad said that he was weeping when he watched Coco. I've only seen my dad cry once, and that was at The Notebook, and he was crying so hard that I thought he was, like, joking. Like, it was, like, a comical cry. Like, it was so exaggerated. It was, like, that me and my sisters were laughing. We were like, ha, 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 I guess you didn't like the movie. And he was like, no, I loved it. Like, that was the only time I ever saw my dad cry, and then he told me and my sisters that he cried after Coco. He thought it was a beautiful movie. I only watched half of it, so I didn't get that effect, but I could imagine how it would. My dad came up with a joke about Dia de los Muertos. I posted on my Instagram story a while ago when it happened, like last Halloween. He was like, I was over at his house. He was like, oh yeah, I guess like today's Dia de los Muertos. He was like, I guess that's when you like honor the dead. Honor the dead? I can't even honor the living. Ugh. Sweet Larry. Sweet Larry and his jokes. Should I start using that on stage? Next Halloween. It's going to be part of my act. Oh, people, it's so annoying. Like, it's sweet and I'm over it now. Well, I wouldn't say I'm over it because I'm talking about it, but I don't care anymore. I used to be so annoyed by this, and now I just go along with it. When people meet me and find out I'm a comedian and we're out somewhere and they go, oh, I bet you're going to get a lot of material from this. I'm like, probably not. But I just go along with it. I'm like, haha, yeah, I could use it. I'm sure I will. You bet your butt. My uncle always says it. I'll be over at his house for Passover or whatever Jewish holiday is like the really boring long one. I don't know which holidays are which, but anyway, my aunt makes good food, so I go. And my uncle, every time, he's always like, bet you're going to get a lot of material from this dinner. I'm like, we're talking about the enslavement of Jews. That's what the holiday is. No, I'm not. I'm on stage. You guys hear about the enslavement of Jews? Pretty funny, right, guys? Dead silence in the audience. Like, I'm sure I could get material from that, but anyway. Everyone just thinks that there's just what's the word? Not a hot spring, like no, yeah, but like there's a word, like a geyser. Anyway, plethora. What? A well, yeah. Yeah, everyone thinks that there's always a well of bits waiting to happen at whatever event they're at. So anyway, where was I at? I was talking about bar shows, getting bits. But why did I bring up getting bits? Oh, yeah, my dad, Dia de los Muertos. Yeah, I'm going to start using his little dad jokes on stage. Yeah, so I took the Greyhound. I watched some of Coco. Now I got to finish it. I like the songs in Coco. Because sometimes when I'm babysitting, I will play the Coco music. Because I don't want them listening to this goddamn whitewashed Frozen. All these little Aryan kids singing. I want them to have some culture in their Disney music. So I play them some Coco. And, dude, Spanish music is lit. Spanish music is so good. All kinds. Like, reggaeton. It's hard to say that without putting on kind of an accent. Reggaeton. Reggaetoni. Reggaeton. You can't, like, try and say it right now. Doesn't it feel uncomfortable to say? You should say it. Reggaeton. Yeah, it doesn't feel good to say. I don't know the proper way as like a white girl to say it. I speak Spanish. Like I speak poquito español. But when I speak it, I can speak it with an accent and sound like pretty good at speaking it. But I always am so embarrassed. That's why I love Jaume. the YouTuber who speaks Chinese, because he doesn't give a goddamn fuck about sounding white or whatever. He just goes into it, and all the Chinese people are like, Zhao Ma, more like, damn Ma. He's so good, and I got to meet him, and I'm so excited to talk about it. But before I get to my good stories, I have to keep doing these dumb things. Wait, okay. So I took the Greyhound. I took a Greyhound to Ibiza. I took a pill on a Greyhound. That was just for me. And I went to Connecticut for this college gig. I was nervous because I'd never done a college before. And you hear so many, like, you know, terrible stories about colleges. Oh, they're so PC. Like, the colleges suck, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, I don't know what to expect. Especially because the college I was performing at, I could tell it was like, anyone gets in here. Because I went to one of those colleges briefly. And I know the vibes. You can pick up on the vibes. It's like a little bit further out of like the cool part of town. Yeah, so there were a lot of red flags. So going into it, I was nervous. And so I get there. It's so far away from the Greyhound station. So I had to take this long Uber ride with, I mean, there's like 3 Uber drivers in Connecticut. And, you know, when they ask me what I do for work, sometimes I'll tell them I do stand-up, but I'm trying to figure out what I need to start saying that leaves the least amount of questions. Because during this trip, I started to say I was a writer. Because I'm like, that kind of is what I do. But maybe they won't be as like, ha 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 ha, I bet you're going to get a lot of material from this ride. You know? But then they ask you, what kind of writer? The guy asked me, he's like, what kind of writer are you? And I was like I couldn't think. I was like, fan fiction? No, I was like, short stories. And then this guy goes, oh, I write too. And I'm like, God damn. I was like, oh, cool. What do you write? He was like, I swear to God, this is what he said. He goes, I'd keep a notepad on me. Like, I write down like gas prices. I swear. He was like, what else did he say he writes down? He was like, he was like, he's writing down like weird things. Like, what did he say? Gas prices. I don't know. It like literally, it was like he was making lists, not writing. He was like birthdays, you know, street signs. I'm like, okay. I was like, oh, that's awesome. He was like, do you get paid for your writing? And I was like, not that much. Now that I think about it, maybe he just writes for BuzzFeed. He's like, top 10 gas prices that you want to bone this winter. So yeah, I need to figure out a new thing. At first I was like, oh, maybe I'll say I'm a dentist. But I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, I can't even pretend I'm a dentist. A mortician, people will ask a lot of questions about that. Maybe I'll say I'm a magician, but I'm sure it's similar with comedy where they're like, do a magic trick. Maybe I'll say I can say I'm like a hairstylist because I have crazy hair. People will believe that. Or like, yeah. But then maybe they'll be like, can you give me a haircut? I gotta think about this. Oh, I'll just say I'm a longshoreman, like my parents. Because once you say that, people are just like, they lose interest quickly. Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, okay. I'm a longshoreman now, guys. I work on docks. They'll be like, do girls work that job? And I'll go, yeah, pretty much all my family is longshoremen. My mom's a longshoreman, which is true. My dad's a longshoreman. The whole squad working at the docks. Okay, that's perfect. So I get to this college after like an hour driving in Connecticut. There's so many trees in Connecticut. Like, you know when you watch like an old movie about the wars, like the Civil War or any kind of war that takes place like when America was first founded? I mean, first founded by white people. And there's always so many trees. They're like running through the woods, dodging trees. You go, it's Hollywood. They're probably just like adding trees for the effect. No, there's a lot of trees. No one tells you that. I mean, there's nothing else to do in Connecticut. They should be like, we're known for our trees. But I was also in like the tiniest little place. So I get into Connecticut early in the morning. I take this long Uber. There's still like 2 hours until I'm supposed to check into the college. Not even do the show. I had to check in at like 11 they told me I had to do a sound check at 11. I'm like, do you have a microphone? Does it work? I'm not singing songs and dancing up there. I don't need to do a PowerPoint presentation. So it's an 11 a.m. sound check. I get in to town at 9 in the morning. So I decided I would go to this diner that was near the college. So the Uber takes me to this diner. And there was a woman in there who was like, she was just going off in the diner. I think she had some issues. And it freaked me out at first, but then I was able to suss out the situation. And I was like, oh, okay. Because she was mad dogging me. That's the only reason why I was like sketched out, is because she was like, she's looking at me over there. And I'm just like sitting in this booth that literally is facing her and I think her sister she was eating with. She was like older, maybe like 50 or something. She's like, she keeps looking at me. And I'm like literally just like looking into the void. But because she's saying that, I like can't stop looking at her because I'm like, well, now she's looking at me. So I'm looking at her. But I tried not to look at her, and then I realized that she didn't have beef with me. I think she just had some issues. But there were a lot of, like, fatter whites in there. It was just cool to see. It was very, like, Roseanne-esque. Just a lot of, the simple life. I kind of am like Paris Hilton in that way. Just infiltrating Midwest towns. I guess that's the East Coast. I don't know. Anyway, I went to a diner there. My total came out to like $15. My eyes were bigger than my stomach. I ordered an omelet, and then I ordered something else. Oh, a waffle. A big ass waffle. And so I got these two things because I'm like, I kind of want a little bit of an omelet. I kind of want a little bit of a waffle. So I order them. I don't finish them. I only had like half of each. And then the lady brings me my check and she's like, oh my God, I'm sorry. It's so expensive. I should have had you order the like combo meal. In LA, $15 for breakfast is like practically free. So I was like, oh my God, it is no problem at all. They had like the locals in there, the guys who were like, Tiffany, you better not be my server. If you're my server, oh shoot, Tiffany's my server. Everybody watch out. Everybody watch out. We got Tiffany over here. Tiffany's in heat right now. Just people like that. And Tiffany's like, oh my God, Bill, are you getting the coffee? I don't know why I'm giving them a southern accent. I just don't know how people from Connecticut talk, but it's different. It's not that, but it's different. Yeah, so I ate there. And then I'm just like hanging out there for an hour. I leave. I go to the school so early. I get to the school like 10. I'm not supposed to be performing until like 1 p.m. So I get to the school. I find the people who are in charge of the show. They show me to my green room, which is just a big meeting room with like 30 chairs in there, all in a circle and a whiteboard. So I get changed. I'm chilling in there. And then they're like, okay, we're going to show you around. So they show me around. We're walking down this hall and there's this room with a big sign outside that says theater. So I'm like, okay, this is perfect. This is where I'm going to be. This is where my show is. And then we keep walking. They're like, and this is where you're performing. And it's literally the lounge in the cafeteria. And there's people in there like studying. There's like 15 people in there just scattered around studying on their computers. I'm like, do they know that there's a comedy show happening? And they're like, yeah. So I'm like, okay. So then I chill for like 3 hours. And the girls come in who are running the program for the students. And they're like, okay, so we actually just found out that like our boss's boss's boss watched your video and wants you to be like PG-13. And I'm like, you booked me. But I knew that that was a possibility, so I'm like, okay, yeah, no worries. Like, I'm not going to try and cross the line. I was like, I'll give them a safe word, so if anyone's feeling uncomfortable, they can be like, pineapple. And they were like, ha 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 ha, ha, please don't do that. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. And they were like, I was like, so are one of you going to like introduce me and bring me on stage? And they were like, oh, do you want us to do that? And I was like, I mean, you don't have to, but it would probably be like, better. That way the people in there know what's going on. Like, okay, we'll say like, you open for Joe Rogan, like, whatever else they were going to say. And I'm like, okay, perfect. That's it. That's all you have to say. And then you can just bring me up. And they're like, okay, cool. And I'm like, just out of curiosity, who was your first option to perform at your college? Because I'm not trying to downplay my pure talent, but college students, they want the big names. She goes, David Dobrik. And I was like, what's he going to do for an hour at your school? Just give out iPhones? Do a Tesla raffle on campus? What's he going to do for an hour? So I'm like, oh, yeah, that's cool. All right. Well, I get it, but I am not anything like him. So anyway, the time has come. I go to the cafeteria lounge. Everyone's on their computer studying because it's midterms right now. They have midterms. So they're all studying, and the girl goes on stage. She's nervous. She's reluctant. She goes, okay, guys, we have free cupcakes and juices up here. We have a performer. She opens for David Dobrik. Give it up for Ali Makovsky. And I'm like, and they're so disappointed. Because she mentioned David Dobrik, and everyone's like, huh? And then I go on stage, and I'm like, yeah, I do not open for David Dobrik. I know people who know him, so that's kind of exciting, I guess. I was like, I won't give away iPhones, but I can give away my iPhone 6. I have the old one, if anyone wants that. And everyone continued to study for about an hour. I had to do an hour, And I was like, I'm not going to do material. They don't want to hear that. So I just started talking to the people in there to see, like, who actually wants to be there and who genuinely wants to study. And it was fun, It was fun talking to them. But it was also, like, a nightmare. There were 2 billiards tables that at one point were both actively in games as I was performing. I wouldn't even call it a performance. I would call it a discussion. But there were like 5 students there who were like, they were with it. They were there with me, making eye contact. I got paid, So whatever. I just got to hang out with some students. And then I left, like, right after the gig. I looked at my phone, and I was like, oh, that was so easy. I thought I was going to be, like, crawling out of my skin. And I looked at my phone, and I was like, about it an hour. And I was like, all right, this is fun. Thanks. Bye. And then I left, and I immediately went to New York. Took another bus. Took the Peter Pan bus. Not as good as the Greyhound, I would say. The Peter Pan bus. Yeah, not a good one. And I did spill an entire iced Dunkin' Donuts coffee inside of the bus station, and there was no one there, and there were no, like, towels or paper towels to clean it up, so I just, like, snuck out of the room and was like, okay, I gotta go catch the bus. And I went to New York. My sister was there on a work trip, so I got to stay at her hotel, which was very nice. And that night, I was only there for one night. So I just did this one show at New York Comedy Club. It's a new material type of show, and it was really fun. Someone actually came out for that one as well, which was really cool. But it's annoying when people come out to the shows, and then they don't say hi to you. Say hi to me after. I want to meet you. Because then I get a DM being like, oh, I didn't want I didn't want to like interrupt you or whatever. Interrupt me. I don't, just come up to me and talk, okay? I'm lonely and I love compliments. And so I did that. And when I was walking to the club, I passed by a Chinese restaurant. And all of a sudden it hit me. I was like, a Chinese restaurant in New York. Zhao Ma lives in New York. Zhao Ma speaks Chinese. And if you guys have been listening to the dang pod, you would know that I've been obsessed with Zhao Ma for the past month. I randomly found one of his videos on YouTube. I was like, I watched so many of his videos, and there's something about it that, like, I hate that I love it, you know? And so I hit him up, shot in the dark. I DM'd him. I'm like, what's up, Zhao Ma? I'm in New York. I would love to get lunch with you tomorrow at a Chinese restaurant. I'm always scared to order because I only know like 4 things on the menu, and it's so overwhelming because Chinese restaurant menus, it's like 12, it's like a Harry Potter novel. You go to an American restaurant and it's like 1 sheet of paper with 3 things on it, and they're like, we got freedom in America, but we don't got a lot of choices. Chinese restaurants, they're like, we can make anything. We have all of the ingredients. So he hits me up. He's like, that sounds good. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going to meet Zhao Ma. I'm going to get Chinese food with Zhao Ma. Everyone was like, oh my God, do you think he's going to film you guys getting lunch together? And I was like, maybe. Honestly, though, I was like, I hope not. Because I just want like pure Zhao Ma experience in Chinatown in New York. And he didn't bring his camera, which, looking back at it, I also woke up early for that, so I was on fire, you know. I was killing with Zhao Ma. He was eating it up. Not just the Chinese food, but these riffs. Man. So we were just vibing at this Chinese restaurant, kicking it. He was speaking Chinese to the server. The server knew him. I was like, this is just like your videos. I was starstruck, honestly, truly, by Zhao Ma. And he was telling me what's coming up for his YouTube, which was cool. I got the insider info. We got boba. I took some pictures with him. But he did this move, and I don't know if he knows this, but I feel like he does. I was like, we have to get a picture before I go. So he's like, yeah, of course. So we go. We have the guy at the boba place take our picture. And he did this thing which really bothered me. All of the pictures that I have with him look like I'm just like this fan and that I like bamboozled him with a photo. Like I was like, oh my, like I just like ran into him at this boba place. So none of them captured the essence that we had just gotten lunch together. And he also didn't follow me back on Instagram. So yeah, every single picture looks like I just ran up to him being like, let me take a picture with you, Zhao Ma. But whatever, he's cool. It was worth it. But I wish that we had pictures where it looked like we were both mutually excited to meet each other, even though I obviously was way more excited to meet him. But he was cool. He was asking me about comedy and stuff. And I didn't realize once I posted the picture on Instagram how many people also love Zhao Ma. There's a whole Zhao Ma gang out there. And if you don't know who he is, watch at least one of his videos on YouTube. You spell it XIAOMANYC. Oh, God, I love his videos. I've already talked about him enough on the pod on previous episodes, so that'll be that. But it was so cool. So then I left right after meeting Zhao Ma. Riding that high. I'm at the airport. I'm going to Arizona. Going to Tempe Improv for my first ever headlining shows. Officially, like official headlining shows at a comedy club. And everyone at the airport is wearing the damn masks. And I'm so over it. Oh my God. Well, first of all, the news is annoying about it because they're like, we don't want people to overreact about coronavirus. We don't want people in mass hysteria over this coronavirus. And then the first commercial that plays for the news is like, it has this like super eerie musical score, like a composer did, like the composer from Jaws did it. It's like, and then it's this guy from the news being like, everything you need to know about corona. Corona's gonna touch you. So then it's like the news is causing this hysteria with these weird freaking like specials about coronavirus. So everyone at the airport's wearing these masks. It ain't gonna save you. Why are you doing this? And everyone's coughing at the airport, myself included. And every time someone coughs, you just kind of like your body tenses up. You're like, stop coughing. But it's also that I went to the bathroom at the airport. Everyone's washing their hands. Everyone's grinding their little nubs off. Just washing, which is great. I love to see it. I'm pretty lazy about washing my hands, I'll be honest. I've been honest about my hygiene on this pod. It's not top notch, but I don't think it needs to be. But I have been washing my hands very often. But I've also been like touching my face a bunch. I have such a tendency to touch my face. I'm always touching my face. And I never realized how much I touched my face until this damn coronavirus. But everyone's wearing the masks. And I started watching the show called, on Netflix called Terrace House. It's kind of like Love Island, but in Japan. And because the Japanese culture is so like, polite and respectful, and there's so many like rules and societal norms, like no one hooks up, like no one's boning on this house. It's if Love Island, sorry, I keep saying Love is Blind because it's so fresh in my brain, but if Love Island was all foreplay or role play and no action, that's what Terrace House is. It's such a good show, but it's on Netflix. But anyway, on the show, the guy had a cold because they all live together. It's like 6 people, 3 guys, 3 girls, and they all live in this house. But they go out of the house and they like still work at their jobs and they still do like their normal life stuff. But they like cohabitate these 6 people, seeing if, any romance happens. And I like the show a lot. It's really good. And I also like seeing like how different cultures live in, like you just get to see it all full out. And so it's really exciting to watch. It's actually not exciting because it's really slow, but it's fascinating to watch. But one of the guys on the show had a cold, and so he was wearing one of those masks. But they have like legitimate masks there, not these like little nail technician masks. These like paper thin masks that people are wearing at the airport. And he had a cold, so he was wearing this mask in the house because he didn't want to like cough and sneeze and like spread his germs all over. That's why you wear the mask. If you are sick, if you have a cold or whatever, you're the one supposed to be wearing the mask so you aren't just coughing all over everyone. But if you're not sick, don't wear the mask. Just wash your hands. Grow up. Oh, I'm so annoyed because it's not the mask thing. It's the way that people are wearing the mask. And then there was someone at the airport this morning with just the mask over her mouth and not her nose. And then like people touching their face with the mask, moving the mask all over, eating with the mask on. Ugh. God, it grinds my gears. Oh my God. I think I'm getting an ulcer. Okay, so now I'll talk about, okay. I only have like 3 more things to talk about. I'm going to talk about Arizona and the headlining and also featuring. And then I'm going to talk about NASCAR and spring training. And then 2 random things. Okay. So I went to Arizona. I've been so much in the past like 2 months. I really love it there. It's so much fun, and I'm starting to like meet more people out there who I really like hanging out with. And my sister moved out there, so I got to see her, which is really nice, and hang out. And so I got to Arizona, and the Tempe Improv is so nice. The guy who manages that club, his name's Casey. He's the best. Like, truly, every other comedy club manager should like look up to this guy and like do whatever they're doing, because you just get treated like a legitimate, entertainer. Because you'll go to most comedy clubs and it's like, every man for himself. Like, you're treated the same. Not that I expect to be like a diva or anything, which like, I mean, obviously low-key I kind of do. But some of these clubs are just like, here you go. Here's a closet to sit in. And they just throw you out there, Very unprofessional. But this club's the best. Tempe Improv is the best. All the good, like, comedy club talent bookers and people like that have come from that club. Like, it's just the best. So they have, like, one of those big black cars pick you up from the airport, take you to the hotel, take you to the shows. So it just, like, feels nice, And so I get in the first night. The first night I was there, what did I do? Oh, I did my first headlining show, and I was so nervous all day. Just like, do I even have an hour? Is it a good hour? Will people even be there? Is it going to be empty? Like, what if I just forget all of my material after 15 minutes and then I just have to be there on stage for 45 minutes, like doing a little song and dance, trying to fill the time? I was so nervous. And so I was listening to all my sets on my phone, writing out my material a bunch. And then I did the show. My sister's fiance brought his entire company to the show. So there were like 40 people there that my sister and her fiance had with them. And then, yeah, it was just like so cool. And I did it, and it went way better than I expected. Obviously, I have like a lot of work to do in terms of getting my headlining set in like a place where I really like it and having the order that I like it and, what I want to talk about. That'll take time, but for where it's at the beginning, I'm really proud of myself because I honestly don't think I thought that I could do it. So it felt really good. And then after the show, this girl came up to me and she was like, "You were so funny. I had such a great time." Whatever. She was super cool. And so she was like, "Oh, like, let's hang out this weekend if you're free. Like, I always do fun stuff. Just like hit me up." And I'm like, "DM me. I'll hit you back." So she DMs me. She's like, "I'm going to NASCAR on Sunday, but maybe on Saturday we can hang out." And so I'm like, "Okay, cool. Sounds good." So then Friday night, this comedian named Bob Marley, which obviously sounds like a joke, but it's not. His name is Bob Marley. He's been around. He's like, if you don't know who he is, he's like a legend. He lives in Portland, Maine. That's where he's from. He has a crazy story. And he just kind of like, he was telling me, he's like, I have like a Warren Buffett fan base. Like, he's just built this, like, group of people who are, like, diehard Bob Marley fans. And wherever he's performing, like, all of his people show up, And he just chooses to do a couple different cities a year. Like, he's not always on the road. He just does what he wants to do when he wants to do it. And, like, people will come to his shows. And he's always performing back home, like, in Boston, Connecticut, Portland, Maine. Like, he's in that area a lot, but if he's touring, like, he only does a couple weekends a year because he just is like, I do what I want, and I love that. He's so cool. But he started in Boston with like Dane Cook, Patrice O'Neill, Bill Burr, Greg Giraldo, Dom Irrera. Like, he just, like, those are all of his people, you know? I think Rogan was like 2 years before, like, started 2 years before him or after him or something. But, like, you know, that's just like imagine that's your crew starting out doing comedy. He was just telling me the craziest stories about starting and going on the road with these people. It was wild. But he's like such a cool dude. He's so smart. He's so funny. I'm just like, I just admire him so much. And I'm so glad that I got to feature for him. But after his show that I was featuring on, he had some people come to the green room after. And one of the guys in the green room, his son drives for NASCAR. And the other guy in the green room works for the Giants, the San Francisco Giants baseball team. And so they're both like so cool and nice. They're like, if you want to go to the spring training games, you know, the Giants are playing tomorrow, I can get you in. And the other guy's like, my son's in NASCAR. If you ever want to go to a NASCAR event, just let me know. And like, I got you. Like, I'll get you like the pit passes. That's the only way you can experience it. It's the best. And I'm like, damn, that sounds good. And I remembered that girl told me that she's going to NASCAR on Sunday. And I'm like, she's going to NASCAR. I'm going to NASCAR. So I ended up meeting her Sunday morning at her brother's house. And she brought me cowboy boots to wear. We happened to be the same size shoe. She brought me a Lynyrd Skynyrd shirt to wear. Like, we were going all redneck. You know, we went all out. And so I hung out with her. We went to NASCAR. It was so fun. It's always cool to, like, meet people after the shows. And, like, actually be like, oh, it's cool when your audience is, like, people that you want to be friends with, you know? It's like, I don't want to be doing comedy to people that, like obviously I want everyone to be able to enjoy my comedy, but it's cool that it's, like, people that I would hang out with outside of comedy. Like, it's nice when those two things match. So I hung out with her. We went to NASCAR. We went super early in the morning. We got there. I am not like a NASCAR person, but when you're watching it, like, it's wild. I don't know. Yeah, it's like way more technical than you think. I'm not like that into it after going. Like, I would for sure go again. Like, it was a very fun event, but I wouldn't like watch it on TV. Whereas like the UFC, like, I don't watch it on TV, but I do like watch it on Twitter when people post the clips. Like, I'm watching that because it's that I'm like, oh, I got to see it. But NASCAR on TV, it's like, yeah, I'm not into it. But in person, it's such a fun event. Ooh, it is fun. Everyone's all white trash. I love white trash people. Like boat people, you know what I'm talking about? Like people who like wakeboard and drink too much beers and drive boats and like listen to Rascal Flatts and Dierks Bentley. Ooh, those are my people. Like that's like I think I've said this before. But, like, if comedy doesn't work out or something, like, I'm just going to become a leather woman and, like, live in Lake Havasu, have both my titties pierced, have, like, dark brown skin and skin cancer. My liver's going to be failing. I'm going to have long, fake French tip acrylic nails. I'm going to have long toenails for some reason because I feel like those people do. I'm going to have, like, 4 husbands. 8 kids, a trailer. Oh, that's beautiful. Like, that is like like that is a dream to me. That's beautiful. Damn. Just smelling like Parliaments. Have like bleach blonde hair, but like over processed bleach blonde hair, mostly from the sun. Damn, yeah. Anyway, so there were a lot of those people at the race, which was very fun, getting to see my future in real time. And one of the guys who I was with, one of the older gentlemen, he was so sweet, and I think he like really enjoyed having my company, Because, I mean, I know y'all saw the damn Instagram pics, but I was looking hot. And I was just by his side the whole time because he's telling me about the NASCAR, like all the racing insider info, the guy that we were rooting for, what his deal was, and giving me all the info. And I think he felt pretty good about, having me on his arm a little bit. And it made me realize, I was like, I could be a sugar baby. Because whenever I picture being a sugar baby, I picture being with, like, not that I would want to, like, bone this guy. He was very nice. Like, I did look at him kind of as, like, a dad. Like, he had some Larry vibes, And so I was just kind of, like, picturing him as my dad. But obviously he's not my birth dad. So if I had to do, like, a little HJ on the side, I'd be able to pull it together for that. But I'm just, like, he was such a nice guy. And I'm, like, if this was the type of dudes, I mean, if I hit him up and asked him for a price, it could be possible. But he was so nice. I was like, maybe I could be a sugar baby. Like, but I couldn't. I had a friend who did it, and I spied on her on one of her first, like, dates. She wasn't a sugar baby. She was doing those things where you, like, I think it's called, like, name your price, where guys will bid on dates for girls. It sounds so gross, and I guess it kind of is, but not really, because if you're gonna get paid $100 to go to a goddamn steakhouse and get your meal paid for on top of that, like, what's the harm? But a lot of the dudes kind of suck and are super, like, misogynistic and, like, annoying, but whatever, I can put up with it. Anyway, so my friend was on the website. And on her first date that I think she only ended up doing, like, 4 different dates, and then was like, I'm just gonna find another job. I spied on her because I didn't want her to get, like, abducted or Law and Order SVU'd. And so I was eating at the restaurant next door on the patio. It was, like, this little sushi joint, and she was next door, and I kept kind of, like, walking by and spying on her. And then when she was leaving, she passed right by me because I was sitting on the patio at the restaurant next door. So she passed right by me. So I'm, like, listening to her and this old man talk. And then she walked around the corner. So then I, like, immediately got up, walked around the corner. She was fine. And then we drove home together. But yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that, but I feel like with comedy, the world is too small. Like, I would end up knowing, I would see someone at the restaurant that I know, and then I'd have to be like, this is my dad's friend, I don't know, I couldn't do it. I have thought about selling my underwear, though. That's an anonymous one that you can do. But honestly, my underwear, no. That's going to be a no. There's a lot of things in those bad boys. Lots of sauces. It's like a Buffalo Wild Wings in my underpants. It's like, do you want ranch? Do you want blue cheese? Do you want Hawaiian? Do you want... There are a lot of flavors. It's like Baskin Robbins. Timestamp it. Okay, great. We got a clip, baby. Yeah, so I went to NASCAR. It was really fun. The pit stop is incredible. I wish I took some videos of them doing the pit stop so I can show the guy who works on my car. I'm going to go, hey, look how fast these guys do it. Why are you taking a day to change my damn tire? These guys aren't charging for parts. These guys aren't charging for labor. That killed when I was at NASCAR. The guys were cracking up. They're like, you got to use that. And I'm like, it's never going to work on the podcast. Let me tell you. I tried it, though, for them, for my daddy. And then I also went to spring training, and I forgot how boring baseball is, because I went alone. I don't mind going to things alone. That's not why I didn't have a good time. It's just that baseball can be really boring unless you're with people. And the people who I was sitting next to weren't really fun. But, it's crazy. When I was at the spring training, I was taking some videos of the field, being like, look what I'm doing. And I don't care about the Giants. I root for the Dodgers, but that's just because, LA. There's also no hot guys on the Giants. I looked at all of their Instagrams before the game to see who I should root for, or who I should try and, talk to after the game. There were no hot players. Also, every Giants fan has a big beard. They all have big long beards. They're all a little bit overweight, just a little bit. And yeah, it's really they literally all looked the same. And so I'm taking this video, and all of a sudden someone calls my name, and I'm like, "Oh my god, a fan at the freaking game?" And I look, and it is a guy that I used to hook up with in San Francisco, who I haven't seen since my last time in San Francisco, and didn't really talk to after hooking up with him. And he also has a big beard and looks like a Giants fan. He is a Giant. He's a big man. He's a large man. And he was a good guy. He is a good guy. I like him. But you know when you're just like, you like the idea of someone, but then you realize that it's not syncing up the way that it needs to, which is a bummer, because he's like so, he's a cool dude, and I like who he is as a person. But anyway, I ran into him, and I was like, "Hey, how are you?" And I think I overcompensated, because I practically ran and jumped into his arms. I always do this. It's like I'm like, I don't want to be in a relationship with you, but I'm gonna jump into your arms like we're lovers that were lost on the Titanic, who haven't seen each other in forever. So I ran into his arms. Anyway, so embarrassing. But yeah, I ran into. What a small world, though. What are the odds? He flew out, because he lives in San Francisco. He doesn't live in Arizona. He flew out for the Giants game, and I ran into him. But it was good to see him, because, he was a good dude, and I felt bad that I hadn't really talked to him. So I guess it was better that I saw him in person. But just a small world. I was watching a hockey game I wasn't watching, it was on TV. And the guy who was singing, I posted this on my Instagram story, but the guy who was singing must have been an opera singer doing the national anthem. It was so disrespectful. Don't be all hey. Wait, how was it? What was it? He was and the Rockets red glare. It was so extra. The national anthem is a 1 minute, 2 minute song. He sang it for 5 minutes, and his mouth the whole time was just vibrating. It almost was he had his hand on his throat like SpongeBob. The bombs bursting in air. I swear, it was the longest anthem. It was so disrespectful. It was so disrespectful to the flag. I've also been unfollowing people on Instagram, because I think that that's been healthy for me, because I keep going down rabbit holes. I'll be following Dua Lipa, and then she'll tag someone in her story, and then I'm following that person, and then that person tags someone in their story, so I'm following that person. And it's way too much, because then I'm invested in these people's lives that I don't even know. It's not that I am a fan of theirs or support their work or whatever. I'm just following them because they're 3 degrees away from Dua Lipa. So I've been unfollowing people, which has been good. But there was one guy, and tell me if I've talked about this before, because I talked about it a lot to some friends, but I don't know if I've talked about it on the pod. So I've been consciously at this moment unfollowing people I don't know, just random people, not my friends or anything. But a couple weeks ago, I was going through this manic episode. I was super depressed. Oh, I talked about it on the podcast, but I don't know if I talked about this. Refresh my memory. I was super depressed. I was just kind of going crazy a little bit. Not depressed, I'm gonna kill myself, but just kind of being existential dread. What am I doing? Why am I alive? What's my purpose? So I was going through that, and I'm just on Instagram, just in the void of it all. And that doesn't help when you're like all in your feelings, So I'm on there and I'm unfollowing everyone. I'm like, I'm only going to be following one person on here or no one. I didn't know my game plan. But I'm just unfollowing. The next morning, this guy hits me up. Oh, I think I did talk about this because I'm like, I'm not going to say, like, it's not, if you're thinking of like someone that you might know from comedy, it's not that person. So I think I have talked about this. But I unfollowed this guy and he messages me the next morning. He's like, why did you do that? Or whatever. Something like that. Some sort of question like, what's up, LOL? Why'd you do that? I don't know. Something like that. And I forgot that I had been like unfollowing everyone. So I'm like, hey, like, just woke up. What are you doing? Or whatever. He's like, why'd you unfollow me on Instagram? And I was like, oh, yeah, sorry. Like, I was going through this manic episode last night and I just started unfollowing everyone. He was like, damn, LOL. Can't believe you would do that to me. And I'm like, did you not just hear the part where I said, like, I was going through some shit last night? Not that he has to be like, oh my God, I hope you're okay. I'm praying for you or anything. But, like, this isn't about you, dude. I just told you I was unfollowing everyone. This has nothing to do with you. I was like, my bad. I'll follow you, whatever. So I start following him again. And he stopped following me. And he hasn't followed me since. So guess what I did? Blocked. You're done. Don't be so, like, things. And I get this. I'm a very sensitive person. I think things are about me all the time. But I always have to remind myself of this when I get in those situations where I'm on his end. It's not about me. Most things aren't about me. So just, you got to move on. And that's what I'll say about that. Unfollow Fridays. Start unfollowing people that don't make you feel happy. People that you don't know especially. Because it's not good for your brain to just be following a bunch of like hot girls because I want to be them. I had to unfollow all those hoes. They look great and I do want to be them. But like it doesn't make me feel good. I'm my own hot girl. I'm my own Insta thought. Okay, I'm going to take some questions and then I'm going to get the F out of here. I can't tell. The camera's like the thing on the camera that shows me what I look like right now is like it's not clear. Like it's too small. So I don't know if I've looked like kind of cute this whole episode or truly psychotic. Let me know in the comments below. Like, comment, subscribe, rate, review, tell your family, tell your friends. I'm coming to Denver. I'm going to be at Comedy Works March 15th through the 18th. I'm going to be at Skankfest South in Houston, Texas, March 27th through the 29th. I'm going to be in Portland at Helium Comedy Club April 1st. I'm going to be at Punchline San Francisco doing a whole headlining weekend. So come out to that April 2nd through 4th. Anyway. So tell your friends to come if they live in those areas. Because I would like to have people there. It's always nerve-wracking getting to a club and being like, is anyone even going to be at this show? Especially when you're headlining, to be on stage for an hour in front of like 15 people who couldn't care less. Someone roasted me on Instagram the other day because I said I could care less. Like, I couldn't care less. But it's like, but I probably could. Even if the saying's wrong, I probably could care less. So maybe that's just what I meant. Okay. Here we go. Someone was concerned. Someone was like, I hope you stop doing drugs and drinking. I'm concerned about you. And I couldn't tell if they were like joking or not. Because I haven't drank and done drugs in over like 4 years. But maybe it's because Post Malone, people were worried about Post Malone. Why? Because he was like crawling on stage or something. Did you read that article? What did it say? What are the hot things? He basically was just... He's doing weird shit on stage. But everyone on TikTok rolls their eyes. All the e-boys roll their eyes. Maybe he's trying to be like a TikTok e-boy. Yeah. He's probably just trying to, like, lean into the, like, I'm a young dude with face tattoos, like, I don't care type of thing. But he's also, like, always drinking Bud Light and smoking cigs. Like, I'm sure he is doing drugs, for sure. But I feel like whoever his management or whatever is wouldn't let him. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they would. I don't know anything. I mean, if anything, they'll just, like, weekend at Bernie's him. Because they need to make that money. Someone asked, why do I fucking love you so much? That's a great question. When you find out, you'll have to let me know. Send me a DM. What was the best thing you saw at the NASCAR race? Oh my god, there were ladies in the pit crew. I wonder if, like, people come up to the girls in the pit crew after the race and go, I don't really like female pit crew girls, but you were actually pretty good. That's what people say to me after shows. I normally don't like lady comics, but you were really good. And I don't think they realize that that's, like, a mean thing to say. I don't think they realize that that's mean, but it is. Because then I'm like, I say thank you because, like, I understand that they are giving me a compliment, but it also feels like when I say thank you to that, I'm also saying fuck you to every other female comic. Just say, hey, I thought you were funny. You don't have to be like, it's a bummer that you're a chick, because if you were a dude, you'd be, like, way more funny. But, yeah. You coming to London anytime soon? I would like to go back soon, but because both of my sisters decided to get engaged this year, and now I have to pay to be in their wedding, like, we'll see. If you want to fly me out to London, hell yes, I'll be back immediately. It's actually not that expensive. I could do it. It's just I'm traveling a lot this year, and I don't know when I'm going to be booked to do more headlining shows in the States, so I don't want to, like, jump the gun and get a flight to London that might interfere with some possible headlining shows here. What kind of movies do you like to watch? Ooh, I like to watch suspenseful movies. Not necessarily scary, but suspenseful. There was this movie on the other night called The Call. I think it's called The Call. It's with Halle Berry and Abigail Breslin. Ooh, and that will get your blood pumping. This girl gets abducted, and Halle Berry's a 911 operator. But Halle Berry was also somehow, like, involved in some sort of, like she became a 911 operator because a 911 operator saved her life or something. And now she has the opportunity to save this girl's life, but she doesn't know if she'll be able to do it. And it's, like, triggering all these memories. Yeah, stuff like that gets me going. Someone asked if I want to ride scooters after my San Francisco show on the 2nd of April. Yeah. Michaela. I'm down. Hit me up. Send me a DM. I'll ride scooters with you. When I was hooking up with that guy in San Francisco, he let me ride his scooter. In more ways than one, sweetie. One with a helmet, one without. I don't know why I said that. Okay. These actually aren't a lot of questions. It's just, any plans to come to Vancouver, BC? That would be sick. I don't know. I'll post about it. When are you going to sing some Dua Lipa? This one guy, RJ, is, like, obsessed with me singing. Like, he always DMs me being like, sing that one song again. Because I used to sing, that girl, Tones and I, who sings Dance Monkey. She has a crazy voice. She's Australian. She's like, but now he's changing it up. He's asking for Dua Lipa. Yeah, maybe I will. If I'm in the car and it comes on the radio, which it will. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna wrap this up. Anthony has to leave. He's on edge. He's trying to get out of here. Which comedians inspired you the most? No, Anthony's chilling. He doesn't care. Which comedians do you feel you are most like? I feel like I sound like Morgan Murphy because she's also like monotone and has kind of a deep voice. So I'd say in that way, I'm similar to Morgan Murphy. She also inspired me. But honestly, I'd have to go back to my OG favorite, the old Dane Cook. So funny. 2005 Dane Cook. Mwah. Chef's kiss. So many good bits. The car accident bit. One of the best. The BK lounge. The kid wearing a Superman t-shirt. So many good ones. So many good ones. You'll play them, like I'll play them today and I'll still find them so funny. I did that like a couple months ago. I was just playing them and I was cracking up. Like it's hard for me to laugh out loud that hard. And like those, yeah. Yep. People are just kind of like leaving comments and being nice. But I guess I did say questions, comments, concerns, thinking that people would like send in questions or ask for advice or whatever. Okay, I've pretty much already answered all of these questions. Thanks for listening to another episode. I have some exciting guests coming up. I feel like I say that every week now, but I do have an exciting guest coming on. And because I'm going to be on the road a little bit, those will be coming out soon. What else? Come see me live. Go to alliemakovsky.com/shows. Please rate and review this podcast on iTunes because I think that would help. I don't know how. People just say it on their videos and their podcasts. So obviously it does something for them. So do it to mine. If you've done it for someone else or you haven't, do it to mine. If you're watching this on YouTube, I hope I look smoking hot for you in my double sweatsuit. Comment on the video. Say what's up. Like the video. Give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. Because I might be putting out other stuff on here. Okay, that's it. God bless. Good luck. I love you. I'll see you soon. I didn't even hit my jewel. Damn, okay, hold on. This is my send off. Okay, now it's over.